everybody. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much. Thank you for being a premium member of the channel. And let's see who all we got here. Sergio Donald, David Rex, Darren, Ivan, Arturo, Dan, Will, Amy, Diane, Kevin, Svenborn, Dawn, Everett, Frank, David, Logan. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Anybody? That PLTR, man. Ooh, baby. Uh-oh. 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 Down to 108. Let's jump over this one where I've got all the stuff drawn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Government spending gonna cut back. PLTR drops. Also, the CEO announced he's selling like $1.2 billion. Something like that. Guess what? We might pull back. And we were already elevated here. We might pull back. That's a long way down. Been warning. And my man Jim Cramer yesterday. Don't worry. PLTR be back. Right? Anybody see that tweet? Pull it up just in case you didn't. Dun, 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 dun. Right there. Danger, danger. My man. Whew. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful out there. I don't got much to say about it. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's probably gonna pull back. These numbers were and still are stupid right there. Look at that. Even after the pullback yesterday. 109, 110 years. 110 years of all their sales to justify the current rate. You think they're growing that fast? I mean, that is not an exponential growth curve of revenue. Hate to break it to you. This is a pretty nice and smooth growth of revenue. Look at that net margin dropped off in Q4. Op expenses, got them. I would be, I don't usually watch fundamentals and make decisions that way, but I do pay attention. Like, it's not like JT only ever watches technicals. I make my decisions on technicals. But I would be remiss if I did not pay attention to things like this right here. I mean, what the nuts? 110 years. These are years. This is not, when they talk about the multiples, these are years we're talking about. 659 years. Yeah, sure. You grow your revenue a lot, it shrinks that down really fast. But the revenue growth it's pretty linear. It's not doing this. We're not doing that. We're doing this. It's not like these were small and these are like doing that. Be careful. I've been warning about being careful on this one for a few weeks. So hopefully nobody's getting caught with their pants down. Too bad here. I'm just saying. Need to be really freaking careful here. Messing with this one. All right. These are not sustainable numbers. Anything over 20 is ridiculous. We get pretty ridiculous. And I say that all the time. Price to sales. You can't fake sales. All right. You can fake earnings. You can screw around with the numbers and hide costs and whatever and mess with the earnings. Although that number is ridiculous also. You can't fake the sales number. You either got sales or you didn't get sales. In 110 years, just to justify the current price, I mean, think about that. You need to increase sales by 5x just to bring this back down to 20-ish, which is still an elevated number. And this doesn't look like a 5x growth over here. So, yeah, even on the annual basis, like you're like, well, you weren't looking at it. You were just looking at the quarters. Look, annual's not going. It's not exponential either. They did turn net income positive in the last 2 years, but that's still a very linear. We're not doing. It didn't go like whoop. So they're not suddenly super profitable. They mostly work for the government. Government spending under giant review right now. Giant risk here at these elevated levels. Anybody not picking up what I'm putting down here? So this highly likely to come all the way back down to the roadmap line. Watch out. Watch out. Now, the question, people are like, how do you play that? How do you play it? How do you do this, right? Well, look, you could potentially buy some puts or put spread on PLTR. That's potential. You could potentially play something like PLTU, PTIR. This one's been absolutely ripping. The options on this are stupid high. This will go down 2x. PLTU. There's another one. And then, was it D? Yeah. Or you just go buy some shares of this, 1x. Yeah, you only get 1x. Not really leverage, it's just short. If you want a little exposure without big theta costs or anything like that, this might come back up in here. Now, oops, PLTR. What is the pullback? Let's just pull it. I predicted we pop into this area probably, and then maybe stall out, which we're kind of stalling out. Let's remove all the. See this last pullback right here? Was actually bigger than what we did. I mean, people are freaking out yesterday, but this pullback was a bit bigger. And we could easily do a pullback this size. Right there. Put us back to 92. So what's the reality here? If we just did that, it's 25% pullback. If we went to the roadmap line, down there, we're looking at maybe a 50% pullback. Not entirely crazy. PLTD. If this went up 50%, it'd be pretty good on shares, right? 50% upside puts us right back there. So if you're going to target something, maybe 20 if you were going after this. Now, 50% pullback on this could be pretty devastating, right? 2x leverage, 50% pullback, that's 100%. Uh-oh. That's why it matters more on the daily. This is daily performance. We're not likely to get a 50% pullback in one day. But you see what kind of damage a 50% pullback does here, and then it's 2x leverage. So, ouch. Ouch. Need to be careful playing leverage. This is why I always warn. All right, be careful on leverage. Be careful. It's a dangerous game. And if you play options on this, or options on this, please be careful. All right, just be careful. Be careful. I mean, I'm perma-cautious. And when I see stuff like this, I'm like, you know, we've seen this story before. I mean, look. What did that do? Might do this. And come back down. Possible. Roadmap line will be in the middle here. For anybody not seen this before, psychology of a market. There's the consolidated, the initial pullback. Get some chop, and then whoo, uh-oh. Seen the bubbles pop before. Know where your exit, like this is, just know where your exit plan is if you're long this, all right? I'm not trying to freak you out, scare you, anything like that. Just know where your exit plan is. Don't be like, I'm going to double down because we're going higher again. When we get down here, I'm going to double down. And then we go down here and you're like, I'm going to double down again. And then we go down lower. Excuse me. And then you're like, oh, dang it. I'm going to have to stop out. And I just took the biggest loss I ever took. And that put a hurting on me. Like, don't ride it back down. All right. Know when you're done. Have your exit plan. If you see that, please respect an exit plan. All right. It's not being wrong that costs you big money. It's staying wrong and riding it all the way back down. Don't stay wrong. Don't stay wrong. Don't stay wrong. Don't stay wrong. All right. That's where you lose big money in the market. This thing can easily drop back down to the roadmap line. How long has it been since we've been there? We tapped it here in August. Not that long. We tapped it here. Right there. Also. Tapped it in the summer. Last summer, May. Tapped it back here. A year ago in January. Kind of tapped in. This one then kind of riding with the roadmap line. And then all of a sudden, we took this large diversion. Coming back would be expected. Looks like the market just opened. So without further ado, all trading involves substantial risk of loss. Hopefully people are on the right side of this, okay? Please be careful. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, and not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't trade stuff if you don't know what you're doing. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor, and paper trade until you know and understand what's going on in the market. That's just straight up honesty, right? You can paper trade. I know some people say, well, it's not the same game. Well, if you don't treat paper trading as the same game, it's definitely not the same game. If you treat that paper trade like it's your money and you just lost that stuff when you made a bad decision, and you treat it like you actually would, you're like, oh crap, I just lost a $100,000 account in paper, and you're pretty upset about it, then you're treating it the right way. If you're like, it's just paper, I don't know, I'll just hit the reset button, no big deal. That's not the right attitude, and you're going to set yourself up for failure when you actually start trading real money. Got to be careful. All right, the hardest thing to do is to stay in this game. Hardest thing to do. So today, coming down here, Thursday, had some unemployment claims, came in a little high. A little bit high. Philly Fed manufacturing coming in light, a little light. Got some crude oil inventories coming up later, around noon. Hadn't really been a big market mover. And look, my man Trump speaking again today after the market closes. I told you it's going to be a daily occurrence here. We're going to have the days he doesn't speak are going to be surprises to me. And then tomorrow we've got flash manufacturing, flash services. Those will be after the market opens. Nothing really coming out before the market opens. Then we get the existing home sales. This might, oh, crash it out. This one should be an interesting one here. Existing home sales should be interesting. I might color that red instead of orange. Then we get consumer sentiment and inflation. Yeah, these inflation numbers have caused a little spark in the market lately, so watch out there. Could see some reaction, and that's at 10 o'clock, so maybe tomorrow you want to wait till after these come out at 10 o'clock before you make some decisions on trading. And then get that at 9:45, we get that at 10, so if you're doing day trading, maybe you want to wait till after 10 before you put your money at risk. Just saying. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, Sledge, good to see you. Rongamer, good morning. David, Nikki, glad to have everybody. Glad to have everybody. So, anybody not up to speed on PLTR? We're probably, no. I don't know if we'll take it right back. We could. Can it go higher? It's impossible. It's possible we go higher. I mean, things are pretty elevated, though. Got that high, got that low. One of the things, when you look at insider selling, I don't have a great way to pull this up. I don't know that they have it on here. Yeah, they don't have. When you go look up insiders, this guy's going to sell $1 billion worth of stock. Insiders have not had any net buys in the last year. They've all been net sells. So when you go look at the insider transactions, they're all net sales. Yes, when you're looking at a growth stock, that's kind of the way it works, but that's also showing that they see higher potential getting their money out than they do riding it. So, I know a lot of startup growth companies, that's how they pay their people, giving out shares and letting them sell them. But you got to be careful. That also indicates they don't have a lot of revenue coming in. So does it justify 110 price to sales? So paying it out with shareholder money. Watch out for that. Easily come back to right there. Even the 4 hour, look how far down this is. Load, please. Calculating. Look at that. Down at 77 on the 4 hour. We didn't even hit it back here. That was a 1 hour bounce right back here. And that was just in January. Come back down here. So just be careful. It's your money. It's your money. All right. Let's do a check-in on where we're at. So stocks above the 20-day. If you've not seen these before, these are market oscillators. They don't go above 100 and they don't go below 0. Can you trade them? No, they're indexes. All right, they just count the number of stocks in the S&P 500 above the 20-day. Convert it to a percentage. We've got 55% above. We've kind of did a nice pullback here. That could be enough to go higher again. We could ramp it back up here. Looks all right. Stocks above the 50-day. We were down at the bottom. We're coming up in the middle. We got a little pullback. That looks set to go back up to the top. We might take it back up to the top up here. 80%. Stocks above the 200-day. This one has been at the top. Now we're down here. We did a nice dip to the 50 area. Might come back up in the 75 area. I think we're probably set for a trip back down to the bottom, though. We're probably going to work our way down to the bottom on the 200-day. So there was on the big, huge 200-day time frame, got downward pressure. May pop up a little bit, make a lower high. Probably on the bigger scale of the rest of this year, got downward pressure. This right here, the near term, possibly into the summer, early summer, maybe we could have upside pressure. This one right here, short term, next couple weeks into March, possibly upside pressure. But we could go, since we did touch the top, this could come up, make a lower high, and then dip down here before it comes back up. So this one could make a round trip while this one still grinds higher on the 50-day. So we've got a little bit of mixed signals, if you will, out of these. So, not, you know, it's what you want to hear, right? Mixed signals on the different indexes, more chop, great. All right, checking out on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up at the open, so we may have a green day on the S&P. We'll see. That's held Tuesday. It held. Bitcoin was red. S&P was red. Yesterday, Bitcoin was green. I at least made some money on the upside. Right after I got off here, I did a SPX daily spread. Just a 0-day. Bought at the money call, sold $10 up. Call. Made like 20%. Nice and fast. Pretty smooth. SMCI, check this baby out yesterday. There are $1 million blocks of options getting traded. You know, I was watching orders for, you know, $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $700,000 blocks of calls and puts get traded. And then I watched, as this thing was right up here pushing 64, I watched a block of like 1.4 million puts for this Friday get bought above the ask. I was like, I'm willing to take a shot on that one. So I bought one. It was like 30 minutes later, it pushed back down and turned red. Doubled my money in like 30 minutes on that one. Wasn't huge. I mean, I took $310 and made it into $650. Not a bad day. I only did like 2 trades yesterday. That one and, you know, the SPX one and that one. So I've been kind of sitting on my hands as we've been shopping around. Everybody's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is unclear. So I've just been kind of sitting around waiting for my opportunity. Waiting. You got to take strategic opportunity when this has been chopping for months. All right. This is not just, oh, there's a little bit of chop here. No, this has been chopping in a very volatile way since back here. And then when we go look at the NASDAQ, we've been doing it since July. There was the July high, took a diversion, brought it back up here in November, popped up a little bit, came back, tested. And then we're just sitting here, haven't really gone any higher than where we topped out in December. This has just been chopping since July. All right. Could you have made money buying down here and selling up here? Yeah, you could have. But if you're trying to be a trader, this is nasty price action. All right. That's the environment we're in right now. How long does it continue? Don't know. Until it breaks. All right. The pattern tends to stay the same until it breaks. We haven't made a higher high than December in tech. That's still a lower high. We still could come down here, back test this elevated downtrend of highs before we go up here. That's the environment we're in. That's still choppiness. Who knows? Like, I don't know. And if we break down below support, we could go take a trip down here again. So that's the environment we're in. Short-term decisions. Be careful. Making big long-term decisions right now, maybe not the best. All right. If you're in long-term stuff, you got to weather it and have your exit plan. Where are you wrong? What if it starts breaking down here? What if it starts breaking down here? What if it starts breaking down here? Where am I going to get out? Where am I going to pull the parachute? It's a time for strategic exit plans, all right? Do I expect us to go higher? Yeah, I do. How much higher? Not a lot. Just up to that 22.7, possibly 23. Yes, possibly up to this 62.50, 6,200, 62.50. These are S&P 500 and NASDAQ. If you're unfamiliar, why look at the futures? Because they have a more complete picture of the data than the cash indexes. You go look at the cash index, you get these gaps. You get lots of gaps. But when we go look at the futures, most of those are filled in with tails. You do have a couple gaps in here. We'll go fill that gap eventually. That gap got filled really quickly. We just don't usually leave a bunch of gaps. These gaps usually occur on contract rollovers, and we don't typically leave them unfilled. Russell just chopping in here. Resistance is right here. Still same area. Support right here. Still the same area. Sideways, kind of chopping in this range is what I expect us to keep doing. What we've been doing since back here in December when we plummeted down here. We've just been chopping. Non-committal. Now, the potential to break down elevates the longer we ride this right here. So the longer we stay on support, the more likely it is to bust. Just like ES, the longer we stay on resistance, the more likely it is to bust. All right. Right now, that's kind of a triple top situation. Be careful. That's what I got to say. Oil here, coming back up. Retest the roadmap line one more time. If we can get above that high from last week, we can start pushing it on up. Maybe get this run up into this 80 area. And if we could beat that, maybe this run up into the 90 area. Let's take it one day at a time. That is a higher low, so upward pressure, but we may just pop up and hit the 618 level right around 76 and turn down. So that's a resistance right there at that 76. If we get above that, probably going up here in the 80 area, possibly 83, and then we'll see what happens. If we can get on through 90 right there, but there's the resistances right there. 76, 80, 90. We could turn down on any of those right there. So far, we're holding a bullish pattern. So far, we do have bullish seasonality into mid-March. So we might take a little run from now to mid-March and then pull back. GC. Chopping. Kind of hit ahead right here. Right now that's for a quadruple top, potentially. I would expect maybe a bigger pullback. Remember, they've got Trump on the audit, on the Fort Knox audit now. He was announcing that, yeah, we're gonna audit Fort Knox. So let's be careful. Let's be careful. If I don't know which way it'll react. Like, so there's 3 scenarios, right? Everything's as it should be. Cool. Great. Might be the one thing in the government that everything's as it should be. Perfectly. I's dotted, T's crossed. Perfect. All the gold is supposed to be there, is there. No big thing, right? We hope that's the way it is. Other 2 scenarios. There's too much gold. There's gold we don't have accounted for. More reserves than we thought. Cool. What does that do? I don't know. Not sure what it does to the price of gold. The other scenario, the gold we thought was there is not there. Maybe some of it's missing. Maybe all of it's missing. That wouldn't be too good. Definitely not too good at all. So that's kind of the 3 scenarios. Now, what does that do to the price of gold? Volatility. That's probably what that does to the price of gold. They haven't, somebody was asking me this morning, well, when are they going to audit it? Trump just said they're going to. I mean, it's probably going to could take a few months to set something up. They're going to find the best people, just like they're doing with everything else. They find the smartest, best people that are equipped to do some sort of review of that particular system. System being storing the gold, and then get all the permissions in place and do it. All this has been happening in the background, you know, despite the stories, you know, all these audits and things, they're all with smart people that know how to do these things. But right now, just expect gold to keep chopping in this range. So it is a risk. Like, could come back down to the roadmap line. See those prices. Oops, went the wrong way with my arrow. 2640. Just like PLTR, this is elevated. Be careful out there. Bitcoin. If we can break out of here, upside. Be careful. This could be yet another fake out. I'm not convinced until I'm convinced. Right now, we're just hanging in the box. Haven't gotten out. Still, I mean, we already popped up, touched the top of the box, and pulled back a little bit. I'm not convinced we're going anywhere until we're going somewhere. I'm not going to hype crypto. This might break down and go. This could fake it out. Like, this seems like a lot like a fake out right here. We pulled it right back up. We could fake out to the top and then go right down here. Chopping people up. So be careful. That's what I got to say. This is not clear. We don't usually spend weeks and weeks sitting here. And funny enough, a year ago, almost to the exact days, we were sitting sideways in a tight range. Right there. See, look. Today, the 20th, February 20, right there, we were in the middle of the range. So we could, this could last a few more days. Then we could move. I'm not saying it's going to be a pop because we ran into this from the bottom, sat sideways, and then continued. This year, we ran into this from the top, sideways. Continuation could be down. Be careful. All right. I don't know for sure where it's going. I am long Bitcoin, crypto. I got long a long way down. Back down in the 15, 20, 30 thousands. Just kind of sitting waiting. I do expect us to continue up to the targets. I just don't know if we're going to take a diversion down first, possibly into the 70s before we go up. Could very well do this. I've called for that for a long time before we go up. Nice 30% correction might be in order before we go up. We did a 30%. We did a couple 30% corrections last halving run. We haven't done one this halving run. But we may do a big flush. Nice 30% correction before we go higher. That's going to bum a lot of people out. This one doesn't look like it finished the downside. Not breaking the downtrend highs. May have more downside to go on Ethereum. Looking at global liquidity, no indication of excitement globally. Just more sideways. Staying in the box. Now this could be indicative that this is a corrective consolidation. This big drop, we came into it with the side, initial move down, into it, hit resistance. The continuation could be down to a lower low than we had back here in August. This may go sideways until March, possibly, and then we get that big down. Flush out the market a little bit. Go down, hit the daily roadmap line on ESNQ, possibly. A few things kind of coalescing together. Dollar on its way down to the roadmap line. I thought the dollar dropping was, super bullish for a lot of things, but doesn't look like it today. I mean, ES is down, dollar's down. That's not the way it's supposed to happen, right? All right. Enough about the macro picture. let's talk about things we can actually find opportunities in today. I go to the market, pre-market, pull everything moving $2 or more up and put it on the gainers list. Then we look for opportunities. Then I go pull everything moving $2 or more down, put it on the decliners list, and we look for opportunities, stuff that might be bottoming. And there's some big down numbers there today. So let's check it out. Let's see if there's any opportunities we can find. Maybe opportunities today, maybe opportunities bigger picture. And let me know in the chat if you're having a good time and you enjoy this kind of content. Got different comments, different things you want to talk about. I do requests on Tuesday at 5 p.m. in case you missed it. FTAI, nice big fat pullback popping up here. If we can maintain the close today above that 618, there is the opportunity right up in here. Possibly 200, possibly 211, possibly even 250 up here. Not too bad right there. That one looks pretty spicy. Power, quantum services. Boy, Microsoft came out yesterday announcing their quantum stuff. These things went a little crazy. Quantum computer stocks. Be careful getting sucked into that. I'm still very leery. Where's the real money applications for that stuff? It's kind of one of those, if you build it, they will come. I don't know. If you build it, what are the applications? It's not like everybody's going to have a quantum computer at home, because it's not real world applications of quantum computing. All right. This thing could drop on down. Be careful. If we can get above that 618, we do have this large gap here. We've got to get through to go higher to 376. Oh, like 326? No, 376 would be the target if we can get through that gap. Right up in there. This is being real soft. It's down under the roadmap line, even though it was on the poppers list. Now we're declining. Be careful giving up that overnight or the pre-market gains. Shake Shack. Let's remove that. That pullback looks pretty nice. If we can close above the 618, indicative we're going up here. If we just drop back down, we may get another leg down. This could just be a measured bounce. That high. First move down, retrace to the 618. Next move down. If this is a measured bounce down, could put us right down here, 95. So if you're long Shake Shack, expecting it to pop, we may get one more decline right in here before we find the bottom. Baba, look at that go. Holy moly. Holy guacamole. My bigger target right up here around 180. Man, rock and roll. Or how? Oh, baby. I bought some of this, looking for this to pop on up with Baba. Looking for a continuation on up in here. Let's go. Got that high, got that low. So yeah, we're looking for the continuation. Right up in there. NXPI. Let's update this chart. This potentially was a measured bounce, I do believe. Let's clean it up and draw it. That low, that high. Yep, there it is. Right there. Look at that upside opportunity. Ooh, baby. There's the upside right there. 250 up to like 375, 400. I like it. There's the pullback. So we're about to activate the more conservative entry for that one right there. Nice upside on NXPI. CHH. Choice Hotels. And just choppy grind higher Finding some resistance at the prior high. If we can push through this stuff, man, lots of alerts. That high, that low. 165, 172, possibly 191. GDS. Being a little exponential, watch for a pullback. Be careful. That's resistance point. Any of these consolidation points are going to be resistance points. That's a double one on the way up and on the way down. That very similar right there. You see that bubble pattern? Took it all the way up, all the way back down. Now we're going again. BobX, 2x leverage on BABA. 44, 48, potential upside. SWTX, Springworks Therapeutics. Be careful here. That's an exponential move right to the targets. We may get a pullback. FUTU, grind on higher, 140, upside targets. CWAN, Clearwater Analytics. Ooh, that's a little bit of choppy stuff here. That high, roadmap bounce. If we can get above the 618 right there at 32, possible to go up to 37, 38 on the upside. BMRN, coming up into resistance. Watch out. This can turn down and go lower again. That is biotech right there. Biotech, caution, 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 caution. And CYD. SPY breaking out. Which way is SPY going? Down. Watch for that to reverse, though. It's for it to be a tricky. It's for it to be a fake out right here. Potentially a dip and rip. May go test that 30-minute roadmap line that we've tested a few days here. Turn around and go. CYD. Back up to the daily. It's another crazy pop right there. Chinese auto parts. China stuff. Be freaking careful here. Just warning. Like, China's one of those things that I've touched that hot stove a bunch of times. Very cautious playing it. Even my C-Web thing, very small position. PDD, if this can get through this resistance, we had this big gap down here. Over here, kind of rallied up and then rip right back down through it. If we can get through it again, target is up here at 175. Nothing's really changed for months and months and months and months and months and months. W, Wayfair, has been in this watermelon seed squeeze for a long time. And I expect it to continue on out here in this junk. Don't really expect it to go anywhere. Now, if it can break out, we might be winding up a large move. But when I say a large move, usually the mouth of this thing, which is about that size right there, will either pop or we can drop. And dropping puts it down pretty nasty. Let's redraw that with the log scale on. So we can either pop, which could take us up into the 200 area, or we could drop, which could take us down to the abyss around 10. That's a large range, right? Almost a 200 point range. Be careful on Wayfair. I just don't see the giant. For me, that's not the opportunity I'm looking for. The trend is a tightening consolidation into this area, and I just don't trade things like that. LNG popped up here. I am warned about a pullback to the daily roadmap line. Getting close, 200. May retest the breakouts. Yeah, breakout zone right in here. So watch for it to try to hold support there, or dip back down in here where we had trouble breaking through on the breakout. And then it may go up, and if it breaks on down, we may do a bigger, deeper correction. MSTR. LNG is probably done on the upside for now, is what that basically means. This one has potential to do that second leg down. Right down in there. We are holding a higher low so far, which if we can keep holding that, we could go on higher from here. It has the setup to do something higher. Just the pattern that I see more often than not is that pattern right there. The more commonly occurring pattern would be a drop down into this area. LRCX. We got the giant pullback coming up. If we can get above that 618 level, about 94, could be going up from 120 on that one. BBIO. It's biotech pharma stuff. Be careful. Large, big picture. We could be set up for 48 to 53. C-Web, there it is. This is setting up for that move up to 66 potentially. Walk. Nope. Just nope. Not enough candles to do a roadmap line. Choppy. Coming off the low with a pop. Low price stuff. Too many negatives for me to even mess with. VNet. Low price stuff. Coming up out of the abyss. Can't really, like, this big low down here being the lowest low negates everything to the left of it. All you can look at is this move right here. It's going exponential. Exponential can keep being exponential for who knows how long. Eventually, it usually comes back for a deep, nasty retrace. Just be careful on that one. Sorry, I'm not the hype man. Some people wish I was, but that's just not what I'm here looking for high probability trades and that I can take advantage of and make some nice money. But resistance right there if this king soft cloud keeps coming up. Amplitude. It's another one. That's the lowest low. One little pop. Not really telling us much off of that. It's funny that I got the bottom right. And that little pullback. We're into some resistance. I would expect another pullback. Billy. Now, when these garbage companies that make no money and have a hard time start ripping and making highs and it's being irrational and these moves are like, what the fudge is going on? It's usually a sign that we're about to get a large correction in the market. So just be careful. It's your money. This pullback right here could take us up to 35, 38 right there on Billy. BAX coming up into resistance. Watch for another pull down. Another drop. The yen. Well, this one getting a nice little rip here. Could take this up to 68 on the yen. That's 3x bulls. Leverage stuff. Be careful. The patterns don't always work. Here's the decliners. Nice. Is blasting on down. Target was down here at 140. Why? Because this big pullback up here results in a target down here. 130, 120, somewhere in there. Carvana. Uh-oh. Hit the target on the upside. Did the measure. Look at that. Roadmap bounce. Boom. Right up to the target. Guess where we're going next? Repeatable pattern. Probably coming right back down here. If we break below that, could go on a deeper retrace. PTIR. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. At the minimum. It's not going to draw in here because there's not enough candles. Coming back to the roadmap line. That's 2x leverage on PLTR. Costco. Wow. Hit that target. This is an example of the watermelon seed squeeze right back here. Look. Like Wayfair's doing. This one popped out the top and kept going. Boom. Could have easily dropped. Also, you never know. I call it a watermelon seed squeeze because if you've ever squeezed a watermelon seed, you never know which way it's going to pop. When you get these, you never know which way they're going to pop exactly. Is it going to pop or is it going to drop? Unreliable pattern. I don't usually trade them. FNGU. Looks like that one's coming back down. It has set up to go touch that 713 area, 730, but may come back for roadmap test. We didn't actually hit the roadmap back here. Roadmap line. So we may come back for a revisit. Right there. App. That could be done, and we could come back for the roadmap line. SMCX. Probably going where SMCI is going. SMCI may be cooked. That could have been yesterday. This little pop right here. We hit the resistance zone I drew on this chart. Right there. That big blue arrow. One move. Correction. Back down. Second move. Right into that resistance. That sets it up for this next big blue arrow right down here. The price pattern set up for another big down. Be careful. Tell people all the time, be careful on that one. Danger, danger, danger chart right there. AXON. Wow. Another government spending reduction coming down for the roadmap line. Watch for support. If we can hold it, awesome. If we don't, we may be taking a bigger drop down to the breakout down over here around 330. Oil. Pushing on through. That could be done. I was looking for natural gas to pull back. Ooh, we almost hit that target. It may push on up in the coming days to 466 before we get the seasonal pullback on natural gas. So I would expect something down here. That means oil will drop and cold will probably rock and roll. Cold will probably pop. CRWD, watch for that to come back to the roadmap line. Walmart, watch for that to come back to the roadmap line. Should be right about up right there. A little further down, I thought. NBIS. Don't like that pattern. A little bit of this, and then maybe continuation lower. Fresh pet. It's food. Yeah, food my butt. If you feed it to your dog and you're not willing to eat it, it's pet food. Watch out for that to come back down. That's a lower high. It has the setup to go on higher. May retrace to here before we go up here. TEM. Tempest AI. Turn it down. Watch for it to come back to the roadmap line. There's only one little blip of roadmap line. Back down around 50. BLDR, builder first source. All these builder stocks are starting to roll. Be careful. We were seeing this. I've been warning about all of them, like DHI, potentially going lower. Toll Brothers, potentially going lower. Builder first source. Sprouts Farmers Market probably wants to come back to the roadmap line. We haven't been there since June of 23. Summer 23. So we're getting close to 2 years since we've been down to the roadmap line. INOD. Watch for that to come down. SMCL. 2x leverage on SMCI. Be careful. KVYO coming down to the roadmap line. Watch for a bounce. PLTR. Uh-oh. The bounce is done for today. It looks like we're coming back. There's the breakout. If we get below the breakout, watch out for that. Started the show talking about this extensively. Be careful. PLTU coming on down. PLTY coming on down. INSM wouldn't surprise me to hit the roadmap line. NTES roadmap line. Well, we want to see this. Actually, we want to see this hold this back test here and turn higher. But if it gets below, there's support at the roadmap line. And then down here are the next levels. So if you're long net ease, NTES, there's your levels right there. You're wrong if we get below it. You're more wrong if we get below that. And if we break down below this, we're probably going all the way down to lower low. Target has the setup for getting a lower low at this point. That low, that high, continuation down to this 115 area right here. Would not surprise me one little bit. We could do that into earnings and then potentially find a bottom and go higher. CLS, watch for that to return to the roadmap line. HIMS, holy moly, that's going exponential. When it ends, we've done it before. When it ends, it's coming down. We'll get a violent retrace back to the roadmap line eventually. It's been since August. Gang. Dropping on out. VNT. Stuck here. That high, that low. We're stuck at this 618. If we can get through these highs right here. Get through that, we could go on up to 48 on VNT. GRAL. That might return back to the roadmap line at 20. SMCI. Already mentioned that maybe we have a little bit of upside left of 73. Watch out. Might drop all the way back down there to 10. And that's the list right there. So, bonus trade right here. Check this one out. I'm not super convinced we're going to do this, but we might. We might. Check this out right here. Apollo fired off back here. They fired off another setup right here with a 243. Look at this. 80% win rate, 2.7 profit factor. Not too shabby. It did get stopped out right back here. So it's been a little choppy on SOXX. That goes along with the SMH yesterday. There you go, 243 on the upside potential. The official numbers, let me pull those up. Here we go, right there. Official numbers. Target, 242.59. Stop below 207.98. Upside of 12 bucks. Hasn't had an 84% back before the last couple of losses. Had a 6 profit factor, so the last couple of losses eating this up a little bit. But there you go. Right there. That's SOXX for you. It doesn't have a huge long history, 25 trades since 2001. But the average would be, if you were taking this one, the average is 41 days. So this may take out to April, right there. All right. Bias for the day. We're getting that dip. Probably got to retest the... Ooh, look at that. I drew that yesterday. Look at that. That may be the bottom right there. Funny how that works. So watch for this to bottom here and turn higher. A potential play. Here's a potential play. Could play off this right here. Oh, we don't have options on SPX. Cool. Let's just use ES then. Potential 0 day. play. You buy a call, go up a couple, sell a put. I mean, buy a call, sell a call. Maybe 10 wide. Like buy that one, sell the 20, buy the 6120, sell the 6130, and when you make 10, 20, 30%, close it on a bounce. All right. You can let me know in Discord if you do it and make some money. This could continue down, so don't put a lot of money in that. We might be setting up for a back test of the downtrend of highs that I mentioned we might do. That accelerated downtrend of highs right there. Looks like we're gunning for the back test. If we can hold it, it may allow us to push on up to that 62.50. Right up in there. All right. That's going to be it for the show today. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 tomorrow. We'll go through it again, looking for opportunities, try to figure out what's going on, update on the news, all the things we usually do. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me. If I said anything that was helpful, give me a thumbs up.